trying to point out is that they need to show us what was warranted to shoot into this vehicle. There was a witness who told a family member that the car was going away from the officers when they shot. And so you see here to the right side, you have a bullet here on the right side of the windshield, and then you have the passenger right side door, the evidence that a bullet shot through that side of the car. And as you know, David Cohen and his mother was sitting in the right passenger side. That's very important as we try to solve a puzzle. And the reason we're having to try to solve the puzzle is because they won't release the video. Y'all do understand that. We wouldn't have to do all of this if they released the video. I mean, with the body camera, the dash cam on the vehicles, Walmart surveillance video. Y'all know Walmart got a lot of surveillance video. We are pretty confident if they release that video, it will show us exactly what happened. Right, Attorney Turner? And so I'm so grateful I got good investigators like Kohen Wiley who were able to get photographs of the vehicle, even though the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation hasn't released anything to us. So you got right there Mama and baby Cohen in the car. And if you look at what Dr. Mitchell said, the shot was from a side, right side, and it went through his body, and it exited the left side, not a front or back. So that meant when baby Cohen was shot, this police is shooting from the side. You can't get that shot from the front. And so why would you shoot into a vehicle from the side where you're clearly not in harm's way? And we want to see that video because we want to know, what was the justification for shooting in this vehicle? And so a big part of it, can you hold this for me for a second? Because I think this is important. You see he talked about the entrance room and he talked about the pseudo-stippling. That's important because it talks about how you can determine the entrance room opposed to an exit room. And he says, based on initial review of the material available, and we'll have this report available for the media. Based upon the review of material available to this forensic pathologist, it has been determined that the entrance gunshot wound is located on the right side of the chest and the exit on the left side. Although both gunshot wounds were sutured at the time of review, there are characteristics of the wound on the right side that are consistent with an entrance wound, especially when you view amongst the associated abrasion of the adjacent nearby skin of the right chest and abdomen. And he actually puts on there, if you could point of that, the abrasions and the markings from the abrasions. There are small abrasions associated with the wound edge of the right wound consistent with abrasion margins. An abrasion margin is not present on the left side. An abrasion margin is important because it is commonly associated with entrance wounds, which are typically smaller, well-defined, and marked by tissue invascination and inverted edges. The abrasion margin forms around the entry opening as the bullet scrapes and stretches the skin while entering the body. This makes it a useful feature for helping distinguish an entrance wound from an exit wound. And he cites to the medical authorities on that. Furthermore, the most dominant finding on the body of the infant supporting the right wound as the entrance wound are the irregular clusters of numerous abrasions on the right side of the infant's chest and abdomen. The location, size, and appearance, the square, angle, and circular of these abrasions are consistent with pseudo-stippling caused by tempered glass, what could only be present at the site of the entrance. This is also consistent with the gunshot wound on the body when shot through a side car window as an intermediary target. And so what he's saying there is the pseudo-stippling, the tempered glass that he's talking about, we can see. We can see it with our own eye. It's on the right passenger side window. To understand pseudo-stippling, one must first understand normal stippling associated with an entrance wound. Normal stippling, also called powder tattooing, is a pattern of multiple very small puncture abrasions, contusions, and or tiny hemorrhage skin injury around a gunshot entry wound caused by unburned gunpowder particles striking and embedding in the skin during a close to intermediate range firearm discharge. Unlike soot or stippling, stippling cannot be washed away, and its density and distribution may assist in estimating the firing distance, although clothing or other intervening objects can alter the pattern. Again, he points to medical authority. He's saying that normally when you're doing a forensic autopsy and review, if you can tell if the person shot close up because you will have the soot from the gun. And so he's pointing out that that's not what we have here. And so he says it's pseudo-stippling is a stippling-like injury pattern produced by materials other than gunpowder, most notably expelled glass fragments when a bullet passes through glass as an intermediate target. These fragments may strike the skin and create numerous finely dispersed superficial durable injury that may resemble true powder stippling, but the pattern reflects an intermediate target due to its distribution and size and the abraded injuries. Again, he cites to medical authority. And what he's really saying is, therefore, the presence of the pseudo-stippling abrasion injuries on the right side of the infant's chest and the infant's abdomen further supports the gunshot wound on the right side of the chest as the injury wound of baby Kohen Wiley. In fact, the pattern of pseudo-stippling supports the bullet that entered the infant first fragmented the tempered glass on the side when the glass bursts versus the laminated windshield glass. Y'all understand that that's so important what he's saying. Because you have the pseudo-stippling all on the right side towards the entry wound, it tells us that the entry wound happened from this shot here, from the side window. How you gonna feel for your life when you shooting from the side?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Y'all. I'm trying to make the case.
Yeah.
It's real clear. Mr. Keith, Mr. Ali, it's the side window from the right side of the car door. That's the bullet that went in through that window that killed baby Kohen. As I said before, God help them if it's not a life or death situation and you shot into a moving vehicle with an infant baby. How do you justify that? How do you justify that? You cannot justify that. And that's why we are having to stand up for baby Kohen, speak up for baby Kohen, and fight for baby Kohen. We shouldn't have to do all of this. We shouldn't have to do all of this. We're gonna, and one of, as we said, it was emotional, but we're trying to make it clear.